What's up, college football fans and Mean Green fans? Sonoy Valente here once again with the Mean Green Show. And today I'm joined by the one and only Miles, who heads up the North Texas Sports Network, amongst other things that we'll get into here in a bit. But before we get into all of that, guys, you already know the drill. If you're a fan of college football recruiting, G5 football, the transfer portal, or any or all of the above, consider hitting that like and subscribe button because that is truly all that we talk about. Miles, well, hey, man, it's game week. I know you've been busy with all of the different outlets you're involved with now. That's exciting stuff. But, man, how are you feeling? I mean, do you feel like it's almost surreal that we're this close, even though being close, it still feels like, a while to go? But, I mean, just what's your feelings of the matter?
I don't know. I'm very excited. This was kind of like 2019, where I was getting really excited for the season. I'm just excited to be out there all day in the heat, and then getting to watch some North Texas football. So it's very exciting. I've been distracted all week because I'm preparing for this game. A lot of good things. I expect a lot of good things to happen in this game and leading up to SMU.
Absolutely. And Miles, tell everybody what else you have going on. You and Carter, you guys started something new, firing Boomer. Kind of let everyone know what that is gonna be, what's it about, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so I mean, I have on Instagram. I like to, write out pretty detailed posts, and there's a caption limit. So there's certain things that I've been restricted to do, and I really just haven't had the time to start a website. And Carter messaged me about a month ago, and he was like, "Hey, you want to start a website? Talk more about North Texas, get more involvement with North Texas because we need more outlets and more people talking about North Texas." So. Uh, he decided to start that. The name was, about Boomer, the cannon that we have after every touchdown. So that was something that I was really excited about, and it should be great. I've been kind of busy, so I haven't written a whole lot, but it should be really exciting. And we just need more outlets for North Texas here, and it's a great way to express what I can write, and I love writing, so it's even better. So yeah, I'm very excited about what the future holds with that.
Man, the North Texas brand, it's spreading like a wildfire, man. It's you can't contain it. You can't stop it. We're on the rise. That's exciting stuff. Well, all right. So I guess, when we're breaking things down on this video, we'll go into our schedule breakdowns. You and I, have different schedule hopes or not hopes. We definitely have the same hopes, but we have very different predictions. Talk about the depth chart and as well as what and who we want to see in the Northwest game to cap it off. All right. So Brett Vito's annual rear on the record thing, you and I were both involved with along with amongst of other people. And I'll go first with what I put. And just a kind of a heads up to everybody. I'm about to talk out of both sides of my mouth. So just bear with me there. And I'm just the type of person where I'd rather kind of prepare for the worst and hopefully be pleasantly surprised. But I put us going 4-8. And how I broke that down was with obviously a win against Northwestern State. SMU, I have that as a loss. UAB, even though the first half tonight, I don't know how much you've watched of it or were able to. I was starting to think, I was like, man, maybe I was wrong, or hopefully I'm wrong, but maybe 5-8, with UAB. But
Jacksonville State's offense is terrible. I mean, I know UAB is a very defensive minded team, but they got one first down in the first half. That's
yeah,
yeah, that's not going to win you a football game. But it was a really
yeah,
sloppy game in general. They're just UAB's blowing the gates off them right now. But
yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah,
Now they've awoken the dragon, I guess. So anyway, I have a loss at SMU. Got a loss with UAB coming to Denton. And unfortunately, I have another loss at La Tech. We haven't really done too well in the past in Ruston. And then we go into at Missouri, Marshall, Liberty. I have all those down as losses. So that puts us at 1-6 with my prediction going into that Rice game. I think Rice and Southern Miss, we win one of those. Coming off of 1-6, you're going to be. It's not lack of talent, but it's just if we do in fact go 1-6, then I mean that's going to be hard to muster up some gumption there. But either way, though, I think we do enough to win one of those games, whether it be Rice or Southern Miss, which would put us at 2-7. Then I think we beat UTEP and FIU, which there's the 4 wins, 4-7, and then cap it off with a UTSA loss for the final being 4-8. However, here comes the double mouth. Dylan Lovelace, he was on maybe a week and a half ago, something like that,
Mhm.
and he made the comment of he thinks our roster is as talented as anybody on our schedule, and I do agree with that. Maybe aside from Missouri and SMU, they've got some talent too. So definitely not, probably not Missouri, and maybe not SMU. If we win either the UAB or La Tech games, which I think both are winnable, I totally would scrap the 4-8. I mean, then it could totally shift gears, and maybe even, I mean, maybe flip it totally to 8-4. I mean, make a real good run in conference, and who knows? Maybe even play for the West there at the end against UTSA. But tell us what your prediction is and why you have your prediction as what it is.
So my prediction was 7-6. I put a bowl game because I think we're gonna go 6-6, and I think we do win a bowl game because we won't get matched up against the top 25 Utah State type teams. Yeah, because if we're 6-6, that would just be ridiculous. But I have a win against Northwestern State. That's obvious. SMU. It would be great to see them win, and I think they have the talent to, but it's in Dallas, and it just SMU is loaded. I mean, we've talked about it
Yeah.
in the past. UAB right now, I mean, I would say it's a toss up. I would say more toward UAB, just because we don't know how our offense is going to look against that type of defense because they're very physical up front. They're very big up front. They got a lot of SEC transfers and on defense, but I have that as a loss. I have Louisiana Tech as a win. I do think they're going to be solid, but not like their usual ways. And I think we can go in there and still win because coming off of back-to-back losses, usually North Texas can get more energy and get more motivation to win the next game, and I think they do. Missouri, I don't see that as a win. I don't know. I just don't see it as a win right now,
Are you going
unless
to that
they
game?
just. That's a maybe.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to fly into Kansas City or not because that's like $100 cheaper. Uh, because I was gonna fly into Columbia straight on with American because apparently you can do that at DFW. But it was like $300. I'm like, I can fly to Kansas City for $190 and drive 2 hours there. We don't know. We'll figure that out. That's still a while, but that's a loss. Marshall, I think Marshall is a win because it's a Friday night game. It's in Denton, and it's just going to be that type of atmosphere that kind of like an FAU game in 2018. We just Marshall, I feel, is overrated. First of all, new coach, everything is just kind of they're not starting over because they still have some great players, but they have a new coach, and I think we can jump on them early and win that game. And then Liberty, I just don't see Liberty as a win. I mean, Malik Willis is just so talented of a quarterback. So out of that stretch, I mean, 2-4 is wait, is that 2-4? Yeah, 2-4. I mean, that's not that bad going that
No,
6 game stretch at all.
absolutely not.
Um, I mean, you go into Rice at 3-4. You beat Rice, which I think they can definitely do because
Mhm.
we don't know what they will look like. I mean, we never know what Rice will look like.
Yeah, they're
Mainly
always
at quarterback because McCaffrey. I mean, who knows what he can do?
who knows?
Um, and then Southern Miss. I don't know because we've played pretty well there, but that's like our toss up game. I think that and Louisiana Tech are the big toss up games that could really decide if we go to a bowl or not. And I have that as a loss. But then I have them beating UTEP and FIU, um, which that should be common knowledge. Even though we aren't great in Florida, that's been a thing not just in football but in every sport. We're just awful in Florida. I don't know why. And then UTSA, I have that as a loss. Puts us at 6-6. We go to a bowl game. We beat a team like Georgia Southern, and I'm happy. That's a
Yeah.
bowl win. First bowl win under Littrell, and that's all I wish for. Just a bowl win. Just something that's not 4-8 or getting dismantled in a bowl game.
Yeah, I would take that. I like the sound of that much better, much more than mine. So we'll see. It'll be
Yeah.
it'll be, again. I'd rather prepare for the worst and be pleasantly surprised, though. And maybe we're poised for a good a good surprise this year.
I
All
think
right,
we
so
are, and a
yeah,
lot of those guys are just the experience last year. I think will help them this year. But yeah,
yeah, yeah, I agree. All righty, so the depth chart. We don't have to break down every single position. But did anything stick out to you that was surprising? We'll get to the quarterback at the end. Obviously
hmm
that's our, you know, we'll
yeah.
be talking about that for who knows how long. But did anything stick out to you that was kind of like, interesting, or nothing really, pretty standard?
So, I've been going to the scrimmages and practices during fall camp, but a surprise was seeing Gabe Blair split
Yeah.
with Casey Marica, the transfer from, I don't know where he came
Was it
from, Northern
Montana State
Colorado.
and then he went to I think JUCO, maybe something like that.
Something he came from somewhere else.
Yeah.
That one was interesting because at the beginning of fall camp, I had Tishawn Turpin at left tackle and Cole Brown inside, where Marika and Blair split. But
Yeah.
I guess things did not work out very well during fall camp, and Brown is back at left tackle. But seeing Gabe Blair, a true freshman out of Geyer, which is great, seeing him split on the depth chart is fantastic, and that also means we're probably going to see him start next year
Yeah.
unless he gets poached from another team, which I hope that didn't happen. I
No,
mean, he's
no.
he's he's strong, and he's
Yeah.
going to be a big factor on this offensive line when Brammer and Mosey, when they depart. Another person was Roderick Burns. Uh, he emerged during fall camp, and it's very surprising to see him split with Lorenzo Thompson. I mean, I really did not have him at the beginning anywhere close to, I think, the starting role at the slot. I'm assuming the slot.
Yeah,
But
I've heard
those
nothing
are the
but
two
good
interesting
things. What have
things.
you seen from Roderick Burns specifically at camp? Like, what kind of player is he? Can you break down his game a little bit from what you've seen in the limited practice you've been to?
Yeah, I mean, he was very physical. He looked like he was a lot more comfortable than I expected, making some great catches on the sidelines. He's pretty fast for being in the slot. I was expecting him and shoot, who's the other guy behind him? Tommy. I was
Uh,
expecting him and Tommy Bush to be kind of like in that area. Let me see
mhm.
who's behind because I have the depth chart right here.
Khatib or
Uh,
Hatib Lyles behind Burns?
T. Lyles. Yeah, but I mean, is T. Lyles is 6'2". That's kind of big for the slot. But
Yeah,
uh, I thought Roger Burns had a great fall camp, though. I mean, he was a player that was underrated going in there anyway, and he really proved that he can get in that starting role. And I think he's a great player. I don't think he had that much action last year and during the regular season, but uh, I think he's gonna be a great target. And this the whole receiving core is just fantastic. I mean, you have two deep guys like Tommy Bush and Bryson Jackson that could really start at almost any other Conference USA school.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, so Jason Pirtle, he's at H back. That's
hmm
interesting. Do you have any idea? And what have you seen any H back use in practice? Like how they're going to use the H back? Because if they were going to have Torrey as the H back before Attaway went down, Torrey and Pirtle are two different football players. You know what I mean? Like that's night and day
I think, and I could be completely wrong, but I feel like this was a move that happened after Attaway's
for
injury,
sure.
possibly. Because, I mean, Tor was more of like a slot guy that was going to be put in more in that role. I mean, I think Kyle Powell was a H back in 2019. I'm
The
pretty sure
man,
against Abilene Christian. I think it was him and Pirtle that were like H back tight end. But I'm not surprised that Pirtle's not starting tight end. I mean, I thought Jake Roberts had a
yeah,
fantastic camp. He's massive too. So
yeah,
it just I mean the whole offensive line with Roberts as tight end. I mean they're just massive and they're getting bigger each year. And it's something that I'm glad that we're finally starting to invest more in because it was a problem under with Mason Fine because he was running for his life. I mean, most of the time, I remember Jalen Ferguson just it was like one-on-one basketball.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then we got Torrey at running back. Kind of moving things over to the defense. Anything stand out to you on the defensive side of the ball?
Just a lot of the transfers that were just I mean, I know that we have the talent that were already there returning, but seeing the transfers that are like right behind them and that they will be in the rotations, it's very interesting. Like Cameron Hill from ACU, Enoch Jackson from Arkansas, who I think splits a lot of time with Colvin. from what I've seen. And Roderick Brown, the true freshman out of,
Yeah.
is he from Ennis or something like that? He
Something.
I mean, he is that was a surprise. I was really not expecting him to
Yeah.
be at that position, but that was a surprise. John Thomas Faulkner from the Citadel. He was playing quite a bit in that second scrimmage. I think there was some other stuff going on,
Mm.
but him and then Greg Francis and there was like a true freshman like Harold West and Dylan Williams and Sinkyu Williams. Both of those, all three of those guys have had a great fall camp, and they could really see some playing time this year. Especially if COVID or injuries or we hope none of that happens. But if that does happen, I think we're in good hands with some of those guys because they came out of high school just already prepared, and these coaches, Phil Bennett, especially I guess because the safeties has really got those guys prepared because Harold West he was one of my players I thought could break out. I didn't think he would be more over Caleb Johnson, but that's really very good to see.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Um, it's interesting. I wonder, okay, what do you think as far as running backs go? I mean, you think we're going to see a lot of Torrey, or do you think they're going to try to maybe let's not use him, too much because
Well,
of our
right
our
now
lack of.
he's on kick return, punt return, and starting running back. So
I
his
know,
workload's massive. I bet
I
we
know.
see a lot of Isaiah Johnson and Akeem Ragsdale. We're
Yeah,
probably gonna see a lot of them because DeAndre Torrey is not a robot. He can't do everything. He can't return a
yeah,
punt, then go out for two series on offense. So
yeah.
I think we do see a lot of them, and I think they're great players.
Hmm.
Mainly Isaiah Johnson. I think Isaiah Johnson has the best upside. No offense to the other guys, but I think Johnson has the best upside to. He's just very physical. He's 216 pounds.
Yeah,
That's 17 more pounds than DeAndre Torrey, and I thought DeAndre Torrey was built.
yeah. Well, he's like a ball.
So
Well, DeAndre Torrey's only 5'7", so that's a very
yeah,
condensed
yeah.
199 or 200 or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a big bowling ball to do punt returns with. But I mean, hey, I mean,
Mhm.
obviously he's done it in the past and had
He's done
success.
the past. He's very experienced at that position. I think
Yeah,
that he's a great candidate for it. I think him and Lorenzo Thompson were
yeah,
two guys that were going to be splitting time at kickoff.
yeah, yeah. Now that Logan Wilson's ineligible for this year, I'm wondering,
That was tough.
if if we'll see Lorenzo back there as well. And maybe that's where Caleb Johnson could kind of carve somewhat of a role in, we'll
That's
see.
what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Okay, quarterback. So you think, okay, okay. Um, I think Jace Ruder's going to run out first. I haven't talked to anybody about that. No one's told me that personally. I mean, that's the honest to God truth. I just think they're going to roll him out first. What do you think?
Well, I said it on the forum board. People didn't like that I said that. I said that I don't think Seth is very confident in his pick because if he was confident, he would share it. He would tell
Hmm.
you this guy is going to be the starting quarterback, and we're going to run with him throughout the year. I don't
Right.
think he's confident in which, and he is, but he's just not confident enough to actually pull the trigger on one person because we saw what happened last year, and I just think he's trying to evaluate Ani or Reuter or whoever more in this Northwestern State game. And whoever, I mean, if he picks Ani, if he picks Reuter, I mean, just if they can go out there against SMU's defense and just play a little bit better than last year, we
Yeah.
play well, and we might even keep in the game a little bit. But I think we see a lot more Reuter than Ani. I think Ani jogs out there first. I think he does that. But I don't think we see Ani week two, and I could be completely wrong. But
Yeah.
um, um, I just want a win. I just
Yeah.
want someone to throw the ball accurate. Like I want a Mason Fine, but we're not probably gonna get that. So just accuracy, consistency. I think we see Jace Reader throughout the year. I think we see Ani roll out there. Uh, First snap week one. Hopefully
Yeah.
a two-play touchdown drive.
You know, um, just to kind of brag on both of them a little bit, obviously Reuter coming out of high school is a phenomenal athlete and just a highly, highly recruited quarterback. And was in a competition with one of the Heisman hopefuls and Sam Howell at UNC before injury, obviously, um, derailed that completely. And now that he's down here, he has only been here for a few, I mean, maybe 2 months. And for him to pick up an offense that fast, that's pretty impressive. And on the flip side of that, for Ani to walk away from the game for what, 4 years did he do semi-pro or double A or whatever?
It was like 2014 to 2019. So yeah, it was
Yeah,
quite a bit.
4 or 5 years, playing baseball. Then for him to come back to Arkansas originally, then transfer down to UNT, for Ani to make it hard for this guy to take his job. I granted it's only been a short amount of time that Reuter's been here, but to hold a guy off like that, I feel like that speaks to Ani's abilities too. Also, a Big 12 starting quarterback, Jason Bean, decided to not compete with Ani. So Ani, I mean, maybe people, maybe Ani's better than we think. But obviously, I'm still very bullish on Reuter, and I'm excited to see them both play, though. I really am. Do you think any other quarterbacks past those two? I mean, do you think they're just going to be those two mostly, or do you think we're going to see Bryce? Do you think we're going to see Kaysen, Amani? Who do you think we see past those two guys?
Well, oh man, that's tough. I mean, well, I wish it would be a 63-0 blowout and we see Bryce Drummond in the second
I'd
half,
love to see
but
Bryce. Yeah, that'd be fun.
I don't think that does happen. I do think we blow him out, but I don't think that we see um, anyone like Bryce. I think we see probably Kaysen go out there for like the last, I don't know, fourth quarter. Maybe Amani if we get lucky and we're up by like 100. No offense to him, of course. I'm just playing around with the
Right.
numbers, but uh, I I don't know. I really think Seth is trying to get more evaluation out of both those two quarterbacks, and he's going to use them a lot more unless the game is just completely over in the first half.
Hmm.
But I do think we see uh, probably Kaysen. I mean, I would hope we see Case. I would hope we see another quarterback because God forbid last year we saw both those quarterbacks, and then we saw Martin, and then we saw Keen, who's now gone, and I think we saw someone else. Uh, Gomber, I think, who transferred to Incarnate Word. I think he even rolled out there. So I just hope we see a good, healthy amount of both Ani and Reuter, and then if we have to, just put in Case and Martin.
Yeah. 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 We'll see. So I don't know if you have you listened to Bruni's and John Field's podcast yet?
I had not listened to the new one. I listened to the one last week. I had not got a chance to listen to
Yeah.
this one.
So they made some really good comments, as far as especially on what they would like to see from the defense. And I wasn't really thinking about it too much until I listened to them, but could not agree more. And the last, I mean, they said ACU scored like 31 against us. HBU, I think they also scored 31. Anyway, the
Mm-hmm.
moral of the story is that the past two FCS schools we've played, they've put up over 30 points, and didn't look that bad. And then obviously our defense struggled, as the year went on. So it would really be reassuring if we could keep this Northwestern State under 20. That'd be really nice. I'd feel really good, with a score like that. What do you I mean, do you have any hopes? What do you think the score is going to be?
I put out on Twitter and everywhere 63-17. I really
Oh
think that
gosh.
Northwestern State's defense is not that good. And I've
Yeah.
seen what they did on offense against some FCS schools in the spring. Their offense is not that good. I mean, I think if we have just those front four of Colvin, Noville, and Murphy twins, they won't score in the first half. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how talented I think that defense is. 17 over 20 would be a disappointment. I think
Hmm.
it really would. Maybe 21, maybe, but
Yeah.
over 21, I think that's just a big disappointment, and we might not win 4 games if that happens. But yeah, because
We're gonna win
last year
four. Four is our
four,
floor.
four is our floor. Yeah. Well,
that's our
last year
that's our
they had
hashtag.
Zappy.
Yeah,
Houston
Zappy was
Baptist
good.
had Zappy. So that one he's a good quarterback. So I can kind of. I mean, our defense was awful last year. That's obvious. But I mean, Zappy was a very good quarterback. So I give him a little bit of lenience on that one. But we should not give up over 20. I really don't think
Mhm.
we will because they only have one good player. I don't even know his name. I just know I forgot his name.
The running back?
But yes, the running back.
Yeah.
God, I forgot his name.
Yeah, what is it?
It's
I
something
can't
like
think of his
Scooter
name.
or something. It's
Yeah.
something
Yeah, he's
with
decent
an
though.
S. He's
Seems
good,
like
but
anyway.
the run
Yeah.
defense was really bad last year. We all know that. I think
Mhm.
it's definitely gonna be better this year, and how their schemes are set up in certain situations. Uh, Over 20, like I said, would be a disappointment, but I
Yeah.
don't think we do that. I think we 63 piece them. I hope we put more. I mean, I just
Mhm.
they're so angry about last year. They just keep on just pushing more and more. I know Seth didn't do that, but um, I think 17 would be what our the 17 should be the bar of what we allow.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be really, and I kinda, if I would predict this, but I think we'll score like 42, 48, something like that, somewhere in the 40s. And I would love to see it 42-17 or whatever. But yeah, 40, 21 or less, I'm pretty good with that. I like, I feel like that's a good showing and outing and a good display of what we hope that we have. Um, well, cool, man. Anything else we need to add, Miles, before we hop off here that I'm missing?
The flying worm. We
Oh
forgot
yeah,
the
the flying
flying
worm.
the green flying worm helmets. I've had a sense that we were gonna hear that we're gonna see it back again. Um, they can't do the apple green jerseys or pants because of Nike's color palette, and they can't go against Nike because it's
Right.
their sponsor. But um, just the green helmet, it looks it looks so good. I'm
Yeah.
so glad they brought it back. I mean, it's way better. It's way better than last year. I think last year's was just it was too bright. And
Yeah.
with this, I know like the bright green is bright, but it's more soothing in my brain, and I think it's a much better fit with these uniforms. Um, I'm really excited. I hope and I wanted to have the green jerseys. I know we can't do it, but the green jerseys and the green helmet next week against SMU. That would be the best color combo
Yeah.
you could ever see. But we won't see that. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited about the flying worm. How about you?
Yeah, yeah, that was. I probably honestly, I know it's not a popular opinion. I'm not as big a fan of the flying worm as most, but I do like it. I am kind of perplexed that they busted it out for this game. I would have thought we would see it for a different game if I had to, because that's kind of like you know like our one of our marquee ones, I guess you could say. But I'm glad to see it nevertheless, and I am curious to see what we do against SMU now though. Um,
So
and probably
they're
some just
wearing the
they're
blue
Dallas, yeah,
Dallas dumb, dumbest thing I've ever heard.
yeah,
Whatever. I think we wear all white. You know, like we did
all
last
white,
year against
yeah,
UTSA, just all
yeah,
white. I hope it's not that. I know we're gonna be wearing throwbacks this year again, but um, it's probably gonna be the all white throwbacks. So
yeah,
that's my
yeah.
guess. That's my guess on it.
Well, very cool. Well,
Hmm.
obviously, Miles, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Really
Yeah.
cannot wait until Saturday,
Hmm.
and we'll have to hop on afterwards and talk about post game. What we liked and whatnot. You think we're gonna have a starting quarterback after this game? Real quick, what's your hot take on that?
Oh, if we don't, that would be that's a bad situation. We don't have a starting quarterback after this. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, we
we don't want to play
we're so
musical
screwed if
chairs.
we don't have a starting quarterback going into SMU. I
Yeah,
don't care if we're trying to pull a charade. We need to have a starting quarterback and roll with them throughout the whole year,
yeah,
and they're
yeah,
gonna do it. They're gonna do it. I have full trust they're gonna do it,
yeah,
and we're gonna see Reuter out there.
yeah.
SMU.
All right,
I'm already throwing
let's.
out there right now.
All right, all right. I'll take it. All right,
Yeah.
Miles. Well, I'll see you
Hmm.
Saturday and go mean
Hmm.
green.
Go Mean Green.